Is that the first man you've killed?
The first man.
Next time you're going to do something like that, tell me first.
Hey YouTubers, welcome to part 2 of my many parts Game of Thrones Season 4 preview video. I'd like to say it's going to be 3 parts, but I could talk about A Song of Ice and Fire all day, so we'll see how it goes. In case you didn't see my part 1 video, I'm separating these by geographic region relatively. There are a lot of people that wander in a Game of Thrones. This video will deal with the characters in the north and around the wall, notably Jon Snow and said wanderer, Arya Stark. There will be some spoilers, so I'll try to let you know in advance just in case you need to mute the audio for a minute. But you will have to wait till next January to find out, so I would advise you to listen to them so we can all geek out together. Talking about Game of Thrones is so much more fun when everyone's on the same page, so shall we begin? Let's talk about Jon Snow first. Not only is he a main character in the books, Kit Harington, the actor, has actually gotten more and more scenes and more lines as the show has gone on. He's actually listed in the opening credits as one of the first couple actors, and those spots are usually reserved for major stars. That's not to say that he is one of the most important characters in the books. Obviously, he's a fan favorite, but I feel like when the show's producers put him in more scenes, they're actually trying to tell us that he's one of the most important characters on the show. So if you thought Jon Snow was going to be big in season 3, he's actually going to be even bigger in season 4. Remember, at the end of season 3, he actually just made it back to the Night's Watch after going through what I like to call a wildling breakup. Pretty normal for them, I imagine. Just think in real life what it might have been like. Ygritte comes up to him and says, "Hey, we can either talk about our relationship all night and where we're going, where we're heading, or I can shoot you with 3 arrows and we'll be broken up." Jon Snow sits there and thinks for a minute. Hmm, I'll take the arrows. Jon Snow is not much for long conversations. So let's get into spoiler territory. I'll try to be as vague as possible if you're someone who likes to do a lot of internet sleuthing or you just want to read the books again. So like I said, Jon Snow is going to spend most of his time at the Wall in season 4. Obviously the events will cover most of the rest of book 3 and parts of book 4. So I'm not really sure what the book 4 parts are going to be in the show, but that might happen later in the season. There will be one returning character coming back to the Night's Watch that we haven't seen in a while. Janos Slynt is actually the character that Tyrion fired as head of the Gold Cloaks when he installed Bronn. That character is actually part of the Night's Watch now, so there's going to be some friction between him and Jon. Remember, none of those people knew about Jon Snow's mission to infiltrate the Wildlings, so everyone really thinks he's a traitor, so there's going to be a lot of haters gonna hate. It also goes into what happens with the Wildlings. If you remember, Jon Snow was getting ready to march on the Night's Watch. There's actually one new Wildling character to the show. He's not new to the story, but we haven't seen him on the show yet. It's called the Magnar of Fen. He's really just another general in the Wildling army, like Tormund Giantsbane. Those two characters are so similar that the producers gave a lot of the Magnar's scenes to Tormund Giantsbane just so that they wouldn't have to cast him early. So that problem of the producers having to condense characters and stories to save space and time is only going to get worse. Book 4 actually gets progressively longer than book 3, so there's going to be a ton of stuff that we probably won't get to see, and that includes Dany in Meereen. I'll talk about her in a separate video, but let's talk about Arya right now. She's actually one of my favorite characters on the show. You can think of her and the Hound in season 3 as being like Big Daddy and Little Sister from Bioshock. You want to stay as far away from them as possible. There'll actually be some really good action scenes in the first couple of episodes with those two characters, just because I think the show's going to move really quickly. Her Vagar Morghulis coin will come back into play. If you remember in the season finale when she turned into Stabby McGee and she looked at it really strangely. I feel like one of the really awesome things about her character is that a lot of her scenes that are really violent and dark actually end up being just a little bit funny, which makes it even funnier because you feel so bad for laughing when awful things happen. I think it's mostly just because the actress Maisie Williams looks so young. Remember that in the books, Arya is really only about 13 years old. So when a character like that is just so dark, it's just a little bit funny and twisted. Speaking of women that you should stay away from, Ygritte actually comes back with a vengeance. Let's just say that when she and Jon get back together, it's really awkward. And when I say awkward, remember what she told him before they climbed the wall. "Don't ever betray me, Jon Snow." You're basically saying that I'm gonna cut your balls off if you ever turn your back on me. Which he did. This is definitely not like running into your ex-girlfriend in a movie theater. Gotta watch out for those wildling women. Yikes. They'll cut ya. So I'm going to save all the supporting characters that I didn't mention for a future video. Send me your questions and I'll try to include them in the next one. Be sure to subscribe to get my part 3 video. That'll post on Monday and it will cover Dany in the East. You can actually click here to watch my part 1 video. It deals with the characters at King's Landing. And you can click here to get my Game of Thrones Father's Day video. It's actually the best worst dads on a Game of Thrones, so I give away some funny awards. Thanks for watching. High fives for season 4.